Hey guys, so I'm going to be doing a quick walkthrough of Hockenheim. Temperature's kind of been 19 to 18. This lap I ran was a 48.6. Did a lot of resets and none of them were good. So I got my optimal down to a 48.2, but I just could not replicate that at all. So anyhow, yeah, so that's pretty much it. So we'll get into it. So coming into T1, I want to maximize your entry here. Your braking point is really about 75 meters, maybe 80 meters. And it's just a quick stab of the brake pedal while your steering wheel is straight off the brakes. And it's really important. So I could have cut this even more. So this is where probably half a tenth of my optimal is I could cut this a little bit more, because if you can miss this inside lip, you don't get in the air and you can get on the throttle without that little bounce a little bit sooner. I have absolutely no idea where the 1X triggers out here. You'd think that it would be the edge of the curb, the edge of the track. I have no idea where it is. I think it's probably the center of the car here. Anyway, so it's really important to get your slowing down soon enough early. So I'm slowing down pretty much off the brake pedal by the time I'm at the 50 meter mark, and coasting just a little bit, and then back on throttle before the apex is really important for the speed and kind of how the car goes through the mid-exit of the turn. You can find if you get on the throttle, it helps settle it down just a little bit. So really focus on getting the car slowed down soon enough and settled enough so that way you can be on throttle pre-apex. So on the brake pedal about 80 meters, off of it at 50 meters, and then back on the throttle, a couple car lengths before the apex, ideally. I guess it's like 2 car lengths before the apex. Jump that curb, full throttle. So 5th down to 4th gear, I didn't mention that. You're coming down to here, your braking point, I don't really know. It's just I just kind of spot it. But if you're looking for something, you could use the end of the access road barrier. Right there is about where you hit the brake pedal. Here's where you really, really don't want to brake too late, because it really hurts your run for the long back straightaway here. So here I'm looking towards the outside of the turn. This is definitely one where you're going to want a late apex from 5th down to 2nd gear. Really, really heavy on the brake pedal, just kind of finding where it's at. So this is where I have a tenth of my optimal, is just this. I need to be tighter on this curb, and then my throttle application is, I need to have the car pointed a little bit more and off throttle more, but we'll just talk about what this is. So here, trying to maintain momentum and then getting on the throttle again before the apex of the turn. Really, really important for your exit speed and everything to be on throttle pre-apex. So it's important, same thing as T1, you want to get slowed down enough in this mid entry of the turn, so that way you can be on throttle as soon as you can start accelerating hard. And here you notice I did the 50% throttle application. That's just to keep the front of the car on the track, because if I went full throttle here, I would be pushing way out here off the rubber line, and then really suboptimal entry into the little kink for turn 3. So this, just kind of half throttle until you're 100% sure that the car will stick, and then gradually work your way up to full throttle. Full throttle, 6th gear. Braking to here is right when the rumble strips, right when they start, is your braking zone. I think different cars might have a little bit different, but for the most part, it's there or thereabouts. In my cockpit view, the second they disappear, that's when I hit the brake pedal. That's my braking point, is right here when that rumble strip disappears. If you wanted to back it up a little bit, you could brake here, and then you guarantee a good entry and exit out of this hairpin. Anyhow, so here, just heavy on the brake pedal in a straight line. You see I start feeding some wheel. So this is where I messed up. So how many times have I said, don't be trying to turn while you're on the brake pedal? So see all that? That's terrible. and the car just kind of goes straight a little bit here. So this is where I lost another tenth to my optimal. Is ideally, I probably should have broke a little bit sooner. Broke a little bit sooner. And then here, I just released the brake a little too late. Down to first gear, just a hairpin, and I see, because I'm so wide at the hairpin, see all this throttle fluctuation that I have. So ideally, I'm on that curb, pointed a little bit more, so on throttle, I'm just kind of waiting for the front end of the car to grip, whereas I should be really directional out of it. I could probably go find a good lap where I did do that, so I can showcase that a little bit better. Basically, just get it slowed up enough, another long run into a really big passing zone. Cut that curve a little bit. There's no need to go all the way out to this. Just keep it tight. Braking zone here, I use kind of when that rumble strip is just about to end. That's my braking point on the right side from cockpit view. So that's going to be a little bit more subjective. So there's no real good, there needs to be like an 80-meter braking void or 100-meter braking board here. Anyhow, so maximize your entry on this rumble strip down to second gear. So here you can actually, this is where you can really see we're releasing that brake pedal and maintaining some sort of trail braking while turning the wheel really just hooks the car. So right here, just kind of look at everything. So the second I let off the brake pedal, see how aggressively the car starts to turn? And then that's where all the pace is at in this turn, is this mid-entry here. So it's not really turning, there it goes. You can see the rear of the car just set and just give a ton of lateral load. I'll watch it again just because it's kind of cool. So off the brake pedal, and there's the car rotating. So you see it just kind of, the rear end just breaks loose just a hair, the front gains all of it, and then I'm immediately on the throttle. So this is about the best that I took this turn. I probably could have got on throttle a bit sooner. This is about another tenth of where the optimal is. Anyhow, so second, you're going to be up to third. Maximize your entry here. Here's really important to not turn in too late, because out there's just really no grip at all. So here, cut this a little bit, and this is another kind of like VIR, a little bit of throttle modulation, just to keep the front end loaded, so that way you're not pushing. So see, I lift a little bit going in, then I'm on full throttle, I lift a little bit more. Really, just exit speed is so important through that turn. It is not full throttle. And if you're going to lift, commit to lifting before the apex, so that way you can be full throttle through the apex. This turn, this is, I think, the last tenth where I had on the 4/10ths for. So maximize your entry in. This is kind of similar to turn one, just a stab of the brake pedal. You don't need a lot. And then just kind of flow. I have a little bit of throttle in it. I get on the throttle too soon here. So here I should have extended this period for about a half second, maybe a second longer before getting on throttle, because I push wide and then see I have to get off the throttle again. And that's worth, I think, a tenth, maybe, I think that was worth a tenth on what I could do through that turn. So very similar to turn one. This turn, so instead of following the rubber line here, how it kind of sweeps into the bank, what I'm going to do is just charge into the banking. Because if you're trying to brake in a straight line here, you have to rotate the car while not in the banking. So here, there's more banking than out there. It's like Zandvoort, except opposite. You want to be tight here. So you want to use the banking to catch the car into the braking zone. So if you're braking out here, you have to be slowed down enough to make the turn by the time you're at this point. Whereas here, you can see I'm still decelerating all the way till I'm in the middle of the turn. So my deceleration period goes really long into the middle of this turn. So just try and catch the banking here, get up on this curb. And that was a little bit off what I could have done. Anyway, don't be too wide. Don't be on the throttle too soon, because then you get out here and there's absolutely no grip. Anyway, so third gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, and that's not an off track. You can cut that pretty well. Here, I don't like maximizing the entry too much. I just find it really awkward to actually get the car all the way out there. So I'm about, I don't know, half a car length, half a car width off. Fourth gear down to third gear. Again, all these turns are just kind of floating the car through the turn. So just getting the car situated so you can get on throttle. So there you want to get, here you don't just want to coast through this because you lose a lot of time. So on throttle, not quite full throttle, kind of full throttle. If you do go over this line that is an off track, and see I stabbed just a hair of the brake pedal there, immediately back on the gas, cut this curve, and away you go. So anyhow, we'll watch that lap in its entirety from cockpit view, and then I will find some better examples of stuff that I had done. All right, so that's a lap around Hockenheim. Now that I think about it, I think that the first bit of this lap is actually quite good. So we'll just take a quick peek at it. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I remember that was a good bit better. So this is about a tenth quicker than the other one, and this is not a slowdown, and it is not an off track. So that's this is about as perfect as this turn will ever get. I probably don't recommend trying to do this on a regular basis because that's like a slowdown every single day of the week. But there's like a perfect spot where you can get your right tire over this inside curb whilst not having your left tire hit the peak of this curb. Like you straddle it just perfect, and you can see how soon I'm on throttle. So that was as good as that gets, and then this was a good bit better too. I might have made my way down to the hairpin though. Yeah, that was... Alright, watch the hairpin real quick. So see, I think I did, yep, so I did brake a good bit sooner this time than last. Maybe not. Like a frame sooner. But that made all the difference. So here you can see a very similar brake application, but I'm off the brake pedal a little bit sooner. Yeah, so I'm off the brake pedal a little bit sooner, and that hooks the car a lot better. And see, I didn't have that terrible throttle fluctuation. So braking a little bit sooner can really be worth a lot. You can look at the data and see what the difference is, but that's here or there. Anyway, I forget when I ran out of, because I ran out of, oh, I just went wide. Not what I did. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, that's a lap around Hockenheim. You know, let me go to a few of these screw-ups and show you what a slowdown actually is. So that's an off-track that's not a slowdown. That was clean. I screwed something up this lap. But this is clean again. Just find a slowdown. That's just off. Here we go. Or is that off track? That was off track. Here's the slowdown. So this is the slowdown. So I think it's when you get your left tire off the curb, but this is a slowdown. It feels good when you do it, but it's a slowdown. Anyhow, I'll stop blabbering. So yeah, there you have it.